All right, fifth graders, welcome back. Yesterday we were working on the area model of multiplication. Today we're going to look at the traditional method or traditional algorithm of multiplication. This method will be more familiar with your parents, more familiar with your grandparents or aunt and uncle, whoever you have as resource people at home to ask for help if you need assistance. So if we're looking at this, I have my math problem, 42 multiplied by 8. Written horizontally. If I rewrite it vertically, I want to make sure I'm lining up my ones digit, my place value. Place value is extremely important when you're multiplying with a traditional algorithm. So let's say I'm going to go through this. I'm still doing, it's similar to the area model, except we're not only taking it into partial products, but we're adding as we're going. So if I look at this first part, I'm still taking 8 ones times my 2 ones. And I'm still taking my 8 ones times my 4 tens. But as I work across, I'm actually adding those parts in instead of breaking it into two area models and then adding them together. So if I look at this, I'm taking 8 times 2, I'm getting 16. I'm going to take my 110 and carry that, bring that over up top. 8 times 4 tens, or 8 ones times 4 tens, or 8 times 4 is 32, but I can't forget I got one more 10 here. So that makes 33. So I have 336. So as you can see, I'm adding my two partial products as I go, as I work across. So it's a little bit different than the area model. Same situation here, except now I have 2 digit by 2 digit. And I still need to start with that ones digit. Okay, so I'm still focusing on that 6 ones times the 3 ones, the 6 ones times the 8 tens. But I'm going to add those as I work across there. So I have 6 times 3. I know 6 times 3 is 18. I'm going to bring my 110 over. So I have 6 ones times 8 tens, and then one more. So I have 6 times 8 is 48. One more makes 49. Now, this is the part that's very important because, as I said, we have to keep place value lined up as we're working through this. So when we're doing our next step, this is actually 3 tens, which is 30. So we need to make sure that when I'm taking my 3 tens times my 3 and my 3 tens times my 8 tens, that I'm starting in the tens digit and working my way and adding my group as I go across, because I'm still going to have two partial products here. So what a lot of people do will put a 0 here as a placeholder, because I'm not working in the ones place. I've already done that one. I'm working in the tens place with my 3 here. Sometimes you'll see people put an X there, whatever you're more comfortable with. I prefer to put a 0 as a placeholder. So now I'm thinking my 3 tens times my 3 ones, or 3 times 3 is 9. I know that 3 tens times 3 would be 90. So that's why we keep that 0 there to hold that placeholder. So 3 times 3, the way I like this is I'm working with basic facts. 3 times 3 is 9. Now, this one was from when we were using the 6 before. So we want to cross that off. We don't want to include that in our calculations this time. So now I'm going to go 3 tens times 8 tens, or 3 times 8, which is 24. Now, what I've done here is taken 6 times 83 and got 498. And I've taken 30 times 83 and got 2,490. So now I have two partial products. Now I'm still going to add. So this is similar to that area model, but instead of adding your 4 different parts, you're only adding your 2 parts, because as you worked across, you were adding as you were multiplying as well. So I'm ending up with 2,988 as my answer to 83 times 36. So let's look at that again. Different problem. I've got 64 multiplied by 34. So once again, we're still starting in this ones place. And I'm going to take one, or the ones digit, the 4 times the 64. So I'm going to start with the ones times the ones, or 4 times 4, which is 16. I'm going to carry my 110 on, put it on top of the tens digit. 4 times 6 is 24, and one more makes 25. So what we did is we just took 4 times 64. Now we're going to add to that whatever 30 times 64 is. But remember, since it's the tens digit, we're going to put a 0 here as a placeholder. And we're going to start with our 3 times our 4. Okay? I'm going to cross that off because that was from the first round through when we were multiplying by the ones. I don't want to accidentally include that if it's not needed. So now I'm going to start over here. 3 tens. So 3 tens times 4, or 3 times 4 is 12. I'm going to carry my extra 1, put it up top here. And I have 3 times 6, which is 18, and one more makes 19. So now what I've done is taken my 30 times 64 and got 1,920. I'm going to add my two partial products together, and that will give me my total. For a grand total of 2,176. Now you can do the same thing with 3-digit as well. So the same algorithm, if I'm doing a 3-digit by 1 digit, I'm taking my ones digit times my ones digit, my 1 times my tens, and then again times my hundreds, and working your way across from right to left. So I'm going to take 5 times 2, and I'm going to get 10. I'm going to bring my 110, make sure you're putting it above the next place value, the tens digit. We don't want to bring it all the way over. Just moving, we're only moving one place value at a time. So 5 times 8 is 40. One more makes 41. Okay. So I'm going to bring my 4 and put it above my hundreds digit, because actually it's going to go in the hundreds place. If you think about 8 tens, which is 80 times 5, that's going to be 400. So we're going to bring that over. We have 5 times 3 is 15, and 4 more make 19, or 1,910. When you have a 3-digit by 2-digit, okay, this would probably be the largest that we'd have in our standards for 5th grade, would be a 3-digit by 2-digit. So if we're looking at that as same principle, you're still going to take your 4 times your 632 and get your answer. And then you're going to take your 20 times 632, get that answer, and then add those two partial products. And we're going to work our way across step by step. So if I take 4 times 2, I get 8. 4 times 3 is 12. I'm going to bring my 1 and put it on top of that hundreds digit. And now I'm going to take my ones digit, my 4 times my 6, which is 24, and one more makes 25. So now I've multiplied 4 times 632. And we added as we went across. So it's a little bit different than the area model. But now that I'm in the tens digit, don't forget, we need to hold that place, because we're no longer in the ones digit, we're in the tens. So this is 20 times 632. I'm going to cross off that because that was from last time. I don't want to accidentally include that in my answer. So now 2 times 2, which is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 times 6 will give me 12. Now I can add my two partial products. And end up with 15,168 as I work through it. Now, your parents would be a great resource. If you have questions, you can always email me or call the line at school here. But you're going to have 4 multiplication problems to do today. And if you look at them, the first 2 are going to be 2-digit by 2-digit. We've set it up in a grid for you as you work through it. Follow the traditional algorithm. And tomorrow, you're going to get feedback, and your video tomorrow is going to have me going through these problems. And you can look and compare what you got with what I have, and we can compare answers that way. You can get feedback on that. If we look at problems 3 and 4, those are going to be a 3-digit by 2-digit. So you're going to get practice with those as well. And then the other part of today is you're going to start your spiral 6, work on spiral 6, where we're finding differences, looking at place value, reading and writing numbers, review of area of a triangle, and they have the formula, half the base times the height here, calculating the area of a parallelogram. So a lot of review stuff on there. Once again, if you have questions, please email me and I'd be happy to help.